The Chernobyl shadow creature, urban legend or truth? Hey there, folks. Ever heard the one about a mysterious creature lurking in the shadows of one of the most infamous places on Earth? Well, pull up a chair, grab some popcorn, and let's dive into the chilling legend of the Chernobyl shadow creature. Is it just an urban myth, or is there something more lurking in the ruins of Pripyat? You know, the world is full of stories that send shivers down our spines. But few places are as ripe for legends as Chernobyl. In the shadows of a disaster that changed the world, whispers of a sinister entity have taken root. Today, we're exploring the tales, the sightings, and the truths behind the so-called Chernobyl shadow creature. So, are you ready to venture into the unknown? Let's get started. Background on the Chernobyl disaster. First off, let's set the scene. For those who might need a quick refresher, back on April 26, 1986, the Chernobyl nuclear power plant in Ukraine, then part of the Soviet Union, experienced a catastrophic meltdown. It was the worst nuclear disaster in history. The immediate aftermath was chaos. The entire area within a 30-kilometer radius was evacuated, creating what's known today as the Chernobyl exclusion zone. Nature began to reclaim abandoned towns, most famously Pripyat, a once thriving city left frozen in time. The environment? Let's just say it wasn't doing so hot. Radioactive contamination spread across the landscape, affecting flora and fauna for decades to come. Mutation in plants and animals became a topic of both scientific study and, well, wild speculation. And you know what happens when a place is abandoned and shrouded in mystery? Yep, legends start to spring up like mushrooms after the rain. The origin of the shadow creature legend. So where did this shadow creature story come from? It all started with reports from workers and a few of the disaster's survivors. They claimed to have seen strange, dark figures before the meltdown. One of the most notable stories is about the Black Bird of Chernobyl. Sound familiar? It bears a striking resemblance to West Virginia's Mothman legend. Witnesses described a humanoid figure, completely black, with enormous wings and piercing red eyes. They said it appeared as a harbinger of doom, showing up right before the reactor exploded. People reported nightmares, threatening phone calls, and even encounters with this creature. The consistency in descriptions is eerie, tall, shadowy, with glowing eyes. Investigating evidence and sightings. Alright, let's talk evidence. There are some photos and videos floating around that supposedly capture the shadow creature. But here's the thing. Most of them are grainy, out of focus, or could easily be something else entirely. Experts tend to dismiss these as misidentifications or outright hoaxes. Eyewitness accounts are compelling, though. Some visitors to the exclusion zone claim they've felt an unexplainable presence or caught glimpses of a dark figure out of the corner of their eye. But is that enough? Also, with the internet being, well, the internet, misinformation spreads like wildfire. There's been plenty of debunked stories and doctored images contributing to the legend. Scientific explanations and theories. So, what's really going on here? First off, let's consider the radiation effects on wildlife. Studies have shown that animals in the zone have higher mutation rates. But these mutations are mostly at the cellular level, not producing giant, shadowy creatures. Misidentification is another biggie. The exclusion zone is home to large birds like black storks and owls. In low light or from a distance, a large bird could easily be mistaken for something more sinister. Then there's the psychological aspect. Being in a place like Chernobyl can play tricks on your mind. Fear, stress, and suggestion can lead to people seeing things that aren't there. Ever been alone in the dark and felt like someone was watching you? It's kind of like that. Expert insights. To get a better grip, let's see what the experts have to say. Biologists point out that while radiation can cause mutations, the likelihood of it creating a new, undiscovered species of large creature is pretty slim. The environment, while contaminated, still follows the rules of nature. Folklorists suggest that legends like the shadow creature emerge as a way for communities to process trauma. After all, attaching a face, or in this case, a creature, to a disaster can make it more tangible. Psychologists add that during times of collective stress, it's common for societies to spawn myths and legends. It's part of human nature to seek explanations for the inexplicable. The influence of media and pop culture. Let's not forget how movies, books, and games have capitalized on Chernobyl's eerie vibe. Films and documentaries often amp up the mystery for dramatic effect. And who can blame them? It's great storytelling. The internet has its fair share of creepypasta stories featuring the shadow creature. These tales get shared, reshaped, and exaggerated, fueling the legend even more. Video games like Stalker and Call of Duty have popularized the idea of mutants and anomalies in the exclusion zone. When fiction blends with reality, it's easy for myths to seem more plausible. Comparison with other global legends. Now, the shadow creature isn't unique when you look at global folklore. Take the Mothman of West Virginia, for example. First reported in the 1960s, this creature was also seen as an omen, associated with a tragic bridge collapse. Then there's the Jersey Devil, Loch Ness Monster, and countless other cryptids around the world. These legends often share common themes: unexplained sightings, warnings of disaster, and a mix of fear and fascination. It seems we're hardwired to be intrigued by the unknown. The socio-cultural impact of the legend. Believe it or not, legends like the shadow creature have real-world effects. Tourism to the Chernobyl exclusion zone has spiked over the years, partly due to these mysterious stories. People are drawn to the area's haunting beauty and the thrill of possibly encountering something unexplained. But there's a balance to be struck. While curiosity is natural, it's important to respect the site's history and the people who were affected by the disaster. Legends can help in processing collective trauma, but they can also perpetuate fear or misconceptions. It's a delicate dance between intrigue and sensitivity. So, after all that, where do we stand? The evidence for the Chernobyl shadow creature is, at best, shaky. Photographs are inconclusive, eyewitness accounts are subjective, and much of the story seems to be fueled by media and imagination. But that doesn't mean the legend isn't significant. It tells us a lot about human nature, our need to find meaning in chaos, to personify our fears, and to seek out mystery. Whether you believe in the shadow creature or not, its story adds another layer to the complex tapestry of Chernobyl's legacy. So, what do you think? Is the shadow creature an urban legend born from the shadows of a tragedy, or could there be something more lurking in the ruins? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below with your theories or any spooky stories you've heard. And hey, if you enjoyed this deep dive into the mysterious, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more. Before we wrap up, I want to give a shout out to all the researchers, storytellers, and explorers out there keeping these conversations alive. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring the unknown.